All right, thank you guys so much for joining us for the first of the 5 series videos. This one is going to be on sales, and I am here with sales expert Sabina Wex, and of course we are going to talk about sales, but first we want to hear a little bit about Sabina, her kind of history with sales, and yeah, all of the success that she's had with sales and the knowledge that she's gonna bring here for you guys.
Thanks, Jared. I'm super excited to be here. So thank you for that lovely intro. Yeah, I started my career in sales a few years ago, about 3-4 years ago, after I realized that all my skills that I learned in journalism and PR could actually be very applicable in the sales fields, because it's all about just like doing good research, asking good questions, following up, being a little annoying, but not too annoying. So I learned all those skills there.
Being likable, being annoying.
And yeah, now I've worked with quite a few clients, not-for-profits, small and medium-sized businesses, working on their sales and helping them with their sales strategies.
Awesome, awesome. So like kind of taking the skills that you had and realizing that you were pretty great at something and then reapplying it for yourself. So probably what a lot of the entrepreneurs out there watching would want to do. So we're gonna benefit from that experience.
Totally.
And since we probably only have about 10 minutes here, seeing as people have short attention spans on YouTube and on the internet, I think that we'll get right into it. So we're gonna be giving you guys, of course, 5 tips for sales, 5 quick actionable tips, and hopefully a little bit of like personal stories and advice mixed in there as well. So let's start with Sabina's first sales tip.
Okay, my first sales tip is always keep it simple and short. When you're sending a cold email, like nobody wants to read something super long. I hate reading long things from people I know. Imagine I'm getting an email from somebody I don't know and it's like this long mammoth. So a tip I use in order to keep it short is I write it up and I send it to myself and then I read it on my phone. If I have to scroll more than once, I'm like, it's too long. Yeah. It's too long. Just keep it short. I just want to know the basics. And this is actually, once I started doing this, I saw a 30% increase in response rate.
Wow.
Just because people were like, yes, no, I get the point,
See,
or like,
good.
give
She's
me more
actually
details.
even tracking it. She actually knows.
Yeah. So I was seeing like this huge increase in response because really like nobody cares to read such a long thing. So that's my first big tip.
Cool, yeah, I've definitely experienced that as well. Like when you send those longer emails, maybe you think that you're like being more professional, or that you're, you know, just showing that you're like really smart or something like that. People don't want that, honestly. Like they just want something quick, concise, that they can, you know, digest quickly the meaning of and get to the point. So yeah, I love that. I love that sales tip, and yeah, hopefully everyone out there keep those emails short. We're getting into sales tip number 2.
Yeah, we're keeping it short. So
we're keeping this short and you keep your emails short.
Exactly.
Practice what we preach.
Yeah. So the next tip I always say is personalize it. Especially if you're a small or medium-sized business, people haven't heard of you, they don't know who you are, they're not just gonna open it up because it's a big brand name that they recognize. So try and actually personalize your emails to the person you're reaching out to. So that obviously starts with good research. So finding the right person to talk to at the company that you want to target. But also what I like to do more than just like finding their email or their phone number is also like just kind of like stalk them a little for 15 minutes.
Learn a little bit.
Yeah, check out their Twitter, their LinkedIn, their Instagram, read any articles about them or even about the company, just so you can show you're up to date. And actually, one of my favorite responses to my personalized emails was this woman who was the VP of customer experience at a big company, was like, oh my God, this is one of my favorite emails ever, because I had told her that, you know, I work with this product and I think it can save you a lot of time and you can start seeing the football games of your favorite football team more. Like, and she was like, oh my God, yes, let's get on the phone.
Very specific with her.
Yeah,
nice.
And it was awesome. And we have a very good relationship to this day. And just because I like took some time to actually look at her, and she told me that on the phone. She's like, I could tell you actually cared to talk to me instead of just selling me on something, which I think is a huge part of selling.
Like actually care about them as a person. Yeah, for sure.
In a weird way. So yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about stuff like that, like the kind of like jab, right hook kind of idea where you'll, you know, give someone like a couple of interactions that are just more personal before you like hit them with the sales one. And yeah, I really like the idea of kind of looking into to their like personal interests of the people that you want to be kind of targeting, and yeah, not really like seeing that as like a bad thing. It's actually like learning who they are as a person before you want to talk to them. And I can tell you guys that because I'm old school, I have like an Excel spreadsheet of my too old school.
CRMs are great,
but you know,
sometimes you need just an Excel sheet.
An old Excel sheet. And in there I've got all of my contacts and all of my clients, and I will like put their email address, contact information, of course, but I also have a little section for like their interests. You know, likes to drink red wine, or yeah, likes football, or whatever it is, some like interest of theirs that you can, well, I don't know, I guess kind of use. I don't want to say against them.
It sounds so bad, yeah.
but
it just doesn't mean you understand
that you can use to build a relationship with that person. So, all right, great, that's awesome. Okay, tip 3.
Yeah, tip 3. I think this flows really nicely into what we were talking about jab, right, hook, is following up. Okay, one email is not going to do it. Like you're probably not going to get a response back. It takes 7 touches, I think you were saying, to actually get someone to get in a meeting with you, and that's just get on the phone or getting on a meeting.
Maybe even 12. I don't know. It's hard to put a number.
I think
but
it's 6 to 8.
Yeah.
I think that's what I saw in Salesforce.
Nice.
So that's around there. So think about that. So that doesn't just mean like following up with an email, but maybe a phone call, LinkedIn request, different ways of interacting with people. We have so many options nowadays.
Absolutely.
We were just talking about this, but a phone call can actually make a huge difference. I think people really underestimate it. And big companies know this, right? Like their sales development reps are calling more so than emailing sometimes. So that's a big part of it, is figuring out how to get this person. So I think, you know, you have to figure out the fine line between being persistent and annoying, right?
Very true.
I would say map it out over a 4-week period. That's kind of a good indication. If you're not getting a response after a month, I have a feeling they're not interested,
you can go to the next name.
So I think that's kind of what you have to do, but follow-ups are a big part of it. And I told you before, I think we were talking, and I had a client who I really wanted to book, and she was taking quite a long time to get back to me, but still, every week, every 2 weeks, I'd send her an email, I'd give her a call, give her a nudge. After 3 months of doing this, we did finally sign on, and she is a long-term client, but you know, it took a bit of time, and that's unfortunately sales sometimes. Like it just takes time.
Very true.
People, I think it's instantaneous, and it's unfortunately not, especially if you're dealing with B2B, you're selling service, you're not selling a product. It can get a little more complicated. So those relationships that we were just talking about become really key in those follow-ups.
For sure, yeah. You got to follow up, and you got to be patient. Like I can give a super specific example from one of my clients, Lars Classington of Laughing Vikings. He's got yeah, it is a good name, good logo too, and it's
that you made, yeah,
that I made. So yeah, basically like he's got a self-tape studio for actors because it's so expensive for actors to try to get into a good studio to shoot. So he makes it like accessible for people to get that self-tape out there. And yeah, so basically I just was walking around in his neighborhood one time and saw that there was a self-tape studio. Obviously I'm interested in like video production and stuff like that, always looking for great places to shoot, like parks or self-tape studios. And I just went in there and talked to him a bit, right? And it was so much later, like after keeping that relationship and following up and keeping in touch with him, eventually like we did end up doing some business together. So it just like, all that to say that like you never know what random thing that you do, like you walk into a shop to talk to somebody, you send an email, you make a phone call, and even if you don't see that there's, you know, like tons and tons of potential there, like you don't know, maybe in a year or 2 years they might be completely ready to buy from you and to make like you know, a significant contribution to your business. So yeah, so definitely be doing those follow-ups.
Yes.
I totally forget what tip we're on. I think tip number 4.
4, yeah, tip 4.
Tip 4.
We're almost done.
That's why she's here. We're on tip 4.
We're on tip 4. So I think we spend a lot of time, especially with people who are smaller, medium-sized businesses or newer businesses, talking about how to even start making those sales and start talking about those sales and getting in. But I think we forget to talk about once you're there, what happens. Yeah. So, you know, congratulations to you. You've gotten on the phone, you have an in-person meeting, a Skype meeting, something. And that's really exciting. And I think people get overexcited and overzealous, so they either totally over-prepare or they super under-prepare. And I think both can go very badly. So I always say make a plan. And what I used to never make plans. I used to just go in hot and be like, here I am with this amazing product. You're gonna love it. And it just sucked because I felt underconfident. I would blubber if they asked me an unexpected question. It would kind of freak me out. I think I you know, you could probably see that I was nervous or I was really overexcited, which I know passion is a big part of this, and it'll come through no matter what. But you have to
seem too eager.
Tone it down sometimes. Exactly. You don't want to be desperate, right? Like think about it like going on a date. You don't want to be desperate. You want to know what you're kind of coming into, but you also don't want to be like weird and creepy and be like, I looked at your Instagram from 6 years ago and saw this. So, you know, you have to be ready. So I make a plan now. I say, this is what I want to get out of this meeting. This is how I think I can get there. These are the problems I think I'm going to encounter. So then when you're in, you're like, wait, I discussed this in the mirror with myself yesterday. Like, I already know what's going on, right? So I think that's a huge part of not screwing up the sale once you get there, right?
True.
You're in, that's huge.
You do so much work to get in. Like, guys, it's so much work. It's honestly like months or even years of work to get the opportunity to have that like conversation. And yeah, you don't want to screw it up because you're not prepared or because, you know, you didn't set yourself up for success in that way. So yeah, definitely make sure that you're doing all of that. And I guess I should come up with a personal story here too. Being prepared for stuff. Again, just like knowing your clients. You have to know their likes, know their interests, keep up on them, do your research. And,
so luckily you've already probably done that in your personalized email to them, which got you the meeting. So that's kind of nice. But you also usually you'll have, I would say, 15 to 30 minutes to talk, right? So you gotta go, you gotta get to the point. Like I think a lot of people want to create these amazing like theatrical presentations.
For sure.
But I'm like, honestly, most people just want to know what's going on. They want to see where the value is for them. They're just interested in themselves. Don't make this about you.
And even like doing like a prep kind of call, and this maybe sounds silly, but it totally works, is like when you're going into an important call, maybe even go over what you're going to say with somebody. Like if you've got like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, something like that, or just like a family member, somebody that you're very, very comfortable with, then make sure that you go over maybe even go over a little bit of a script with them. And again, you might feel a little bit ridiculous doing that, but I'm telling you, it is going to help when you get that important call. So
absolutely.
Awesome.
And I think also taking notes after you do it, like do a little debrief with yourself, because you'll notice what people respond to and what people don't, and then you can kind of craft your pitch and craft your presentations around that so that you get better every time and you see what works. Maybe this works at a marketing agency, but it doesn't work necessarily at like a consumer goods company. So I think that's also really important, like thinking about it after so that you can go into the next one just feeling prepared, and as you do this more and more, you don't have to prep quite as much.
Awesome. I think we're on to tip 5.
The final tip. Yeah, it's exciting.
I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited.
So our final tip is I just want to say no's are not a bad thing. Obviously here in this process we're trying to get to yes, and this is what we've been talking about, I think, for the most part. But
this is one I even challenged you on right away. I was like, our no's how are no's good? But tell us, Sabina.
I think no's are a really powerful thing that people really underestimate. They think you get a no, so it's a no forever. Just not the case. It's actually just the beginning of a relationship. You now know what they don't want, which is really, really powerful, right? Like, if I know what you don't want, then I can kind of figure out what you do want. So perhaps later you create something that's more applicable, or perhaps you just keep creating a relationship. You've already been on the phone with them, you've emailed with them, something, like you've had some sort of interaction where they've taken the time to tell you no, which means that they've read it, they care enough to tell you no, they like you potentially enough to tell you no, which is a really big deal. So you can keep up your relationship with them through LinkedIn, through emails. Sometimes I even put Google alerts on people who have said no to me or on their company. And then when I see something comes up, I can say like, hey, congrats, I saw you got a big raise. That's awesome. So glad the team is, doing well. Keep in touch, whatever. And also we were talking about the power. I always do this. I have a list of everybody who I've talked to, right? So I can see yeses and nos. And, some people with no, maybe you don't feel like you have to put in that much of an effort into the relationship, but especially if you have a meeting or something, I always send them Christmas cards, right?
That's
and
awesome.
I handwrite my Christmas cards. They're gorgeous cards. Like, I love sending cards. So when people get those, I've had a lot of no's from that turn into a yes. They said, I got your card, absolutely loved it. I'd love to catch up and hear what you're up to, right? Or, actually, we were thinking about bringing this in. We need some sales help, etc. So it actually is a really great stepping stone, and I think people very much underestimate it.
Yeah, for sure. People definitely undervalue those like small personal things that you have to really take the time to do. It's not easy to send people Christmas cards. It's not. It takes a lot of time. It's a big time investment, but at the and to write an email obviously and send someone an Instagram message, it's very easy. It's low friction, but like how much is it really going to accomplish and how much is it really going to like impact someone where they're going to come back and talk to you at another point. And I did have this time a good personal story on this one. So one of my clients, Andrew, he was actually like a mentor of mine and taught some business coaching classes that I attended, and I always wanted to do some business with him. And I was thinking like kind of small scale stuff, maybe one of his clients or someone in his network would need like a logo design or something that would amount to like a few $100s for my business at the time, and I would like ask him about those things, and it would be like not necessarily no, but just not right now, or it's not the right time. And then later on, like months and months later, I ended up doing a huge video editing project for him, which was like 40 hours of video editing, like a much more significant project. So basically not, just what Sabina was saying is like very smart, very good wisdom, and you guys, I hope that your ears are perking up, and I hope that you're all still listening out there after 16 minutes of long content videos. So we'll probably wrap this guy up, but this was, I hope it was enlightening to me. I definitely learned a lot talking to Sabina here today. Sabina, if you could just maybe give us kind of a summary of those 5 tips, and then plug your stuff where people can find you online or in real life, and then we'll head out and we'll let you guys get back to your drinking coffee or whatever you have to do.
Awesome. Well, in real life, you can find me here in this park.
Yeah.
But a summary of the 5 tips is keep it short and simple. Keep it personalized. Follow up. Make a plan when you go into the meeting, and don't be afraid of a no. A no is a good thing. So those are my 5 tips. I hope they helped. You can find me, Sabina Wex, at sabinawex.com, and I also have a company called Upsell Talent where we actually teach sales and customer success skills for entry-level sales and customer success roles in tech companies.
Awesome. And you guys probably already know me, but just in case, I'm Jared. You can find me at galaxydesigngraphics.com, and you can find me on YouTube and all the crazy social media stuff where I skateboard and be an entrepreneur. So
Awesome.
Anyways, this was amazing. Thank you so much, Sabina, honestly, for coming on the show, and we look forward to bringing you guys some more awesome tips in future videos of the 5 series. Have an awesome day.